Hello everyone and welcome back to a best of 5 series of professional StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a rather spicy Terran versus Protoss, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Moondance. Spotting right here in the bottom right corner of the map, playing with the blue SCVs, hailing from South Korea, we have none other than Percival. Now admittedly, I haven't casted as many games of Percival in the past, but it's a relatively small sample size, I suppose, but in the games that I have seen him play, he's definitely not afraid to go for some more cheesy strategies. And because of that, I've noticed a lot of you enjoy watching this man quite a bit. There is a probe moving down towards the low ground. Sadly, right here for a Protoss player, this is a probe with blinders on, kind of like a horse. Yeah, you won't really be able to get a lot of vision out of that. Do you think actually... what are the eyes of a probe? Do you think it's like that? Is it like a Cyclops? Is it just the front bit, the blue bit? Or is it those things on the sides? Anyways, playing right here in the top left-hand corner with the red Protoss pieces. Hailing from the United States of America, we are looking at Astrea's main nexus. Alright. So I saw Probe post a couple of screenshots of this particular series on Twitter a few days ago. And, well, from what I understand, this apparently is a really fun series. So we're going to find out together. One of the screenshots that he posted was actually on Moondance. I think that was probably right around the 4, maybe 5 minute mark or so. I don't want to spoil it for you. I guess I already know what ends up going down, but I don't know who ends up winning it. But it really seemed like a fun series to go ahead and check out. At the very least, it kind of reminded me of like the... like, generally speaking... on my channel, I find that the pro games do really well, and the viewer-submitted casts also, you know, do really well. Or the viewer-submitted games, rather. Those casts, right? Whenever I commentate those matches. This strikes me as a series that's kind of like a combination of the two, where we have a bunch of silly strategies happening at a very high level. Anyhow, first Reaper shows up. Astrea doesn't find out exactly where that proxy is located, but he did have a probe on the other side of the map, of course, so he probably was able to put one and one together. Good control so far. Losing one probe. I think it was only one probe, yeah. Is he gonna get the second probe? No, Stalker is out. Only a single worker here. There is, however, a second Reaper coming up as well. In the meantime, in the bottom right-hand corner, Astrea is building a pylon. In the meantime, in the top left-hand corner, I believe this is the SCV that originally built that barracks. It's managed to sneak around, even though there is a Nexus building right here. It managed to sneak around, and it's now hiding over here at the top left, and it starts up a starport. Twilight Council here, coming up for Astrea, so it's not quite going to be a proxy Stargate. Instead, he wants to make sure he's got that pylon set up in the bottom right-hand corner by the time that the Terran player can think about taking the low ground. Now, it is going to be an in-base expo for now. Percival will probably fly that command center towards the low ground in a moment, so Astrea could have gotten there a little bit sooner, but both players trying to outsmart one another. I think we're coming up on the screenshot timing here in just a second. The screenshot that I saw on Twitter a few days ago. Twilight Council finishes up. Astrea is going for a proxy Dark Shrine, and Percival is going for proxy Banshees. So both players are going for cloaked units on their opponent's side of the map in the opponent's pocket base. This is not something that we normally see at this level of play, but I guess after that proxy shenanigans, right, in the earlier stages of the game, it's quite difficult to figure out exactly what's happening. Now, we did have a hallucinated Phoenix over there, so at the very least, Astrea saw what was happening. He knows that there probably should be a starport out or like a second barracks. I guess he didn't fly in all too far, but... if he gets a... oh my... No. Probe, what are you doing? Percival, what are you doing, mate? No. That's like the last thing you want to do. Come on. Astrea must have noticed that. There's no way that would sneak in. Yeah, okay. He sends a probe on over towards the top left right away. Come on, man. That is a little bit unfortunate. Anyways... there is a robo facility building, but it's on the other side of the map. So at this point, our Terran player, I guess, is scouted. Protoss is not scouted just yet. He can get an observer, but there's really no easy way for him to get it back home. Other than, well, I guess flying it or recalling it. He needs to make sure he has energy available. Because despite the fact that he scouted it in the top left-hand corner, there's now that Cyclone to deal with, as well as the 2 Reapers at the front. Astrea needs to micro this to the best of his ability. He's actually losing Quite a few troops here, I believe. Nothing all too crazy, but still 5 probes in total. There is this shield battery finishing up. He really wants to deal with the units over here. Anyhow, Dark Templar at this point are available. Looks like the Warp Prism got a little overly excited. DTs are going to go into the main base. At the same time, though, the Banshee is waiting right here for its sister to come out. That one will be available in just a sec. Especially against a against a shield battery. You want to make sure that those are firing in unison. No reliable detection here for Percival. He has no scan available. He dropped a bunch of mules. That is the last thing that he needs. At the same time, though, we do see a recall. What do we see recalling right now? It is indeed an observer. So he recalled an observer. He's trying to go to town right here against these Banshees. A lot of SCVs are falling, though, on the other side of the map. I guess eventually there's going to be a scan. Yeah, there is one. How about the second one? Okay, he's about 15 seconds away from another scan on that orbital command. Ooh. Oh. Apparently Percival thinks he's lost too much already and he decides to tap out. Definitely a bit of an early GG right there from Percival. I would have liked to see that game play out for a couple more minutes. Especially after all that excitement in just like 5 minutes time. Anyways, I guess in his mind he was now forced to play a macro-focused game from behind. Or at the very least he was going to have a hard time getting himself stimp back and all that done. Before there was going to be a huge Protoss army knocking at his front door, probably with like Blink Stalker or something along those lines. So, yeah, he decided to GG out a bit sooner than I personally would have liked to see. But maybe in his mind, I mean, I don't mean this with any disrespect, but he probably assumes that Astrea is the better overall macro player, and therefore, you know, he needed to try and play a bit of a trick on the opponent, and to then be forced to play like a macro game from behind is probably not what he had in mind for this particular series. Anyways, game number 2. Cosmic Sapphire. Astrea is heading on over all the way towards the bottom left-hand corner. Is this what I think it is? I thought he was sending out an early scouting probe. But I think that Astrea indeed is rushing out a gold base first. Not a lot of gold bases in the current map pool of StarCraft 2, so Astrea is making the best of it. In the meantime, Percival is going for what we used to call a Mecha Rex back in the day. Especially after proxying the very first barracks. Well, I guess this is still technically a proxy, but he can just fly it back home very easily. I think Percival is probably going to go for an identical build, although... Okay, he's going to go for the factory. He does meet the probe here in the bottom left-hand corner. Yeah, you must realize that something is a little bit off. He's going to check the bottom left. Excellent scout right here from Percival. And he will see the timing there of that Nexus. In the meantime, Astrea is going for a pylon. Probably thinking ahead as well. He probably realizes, okay, I'm going to be scouted in just a moment. I'm going to plant down another pylon on my opponent's side of the map. There is a Reaper available. It's looking for that probe right now. Okay. Probe plants down a Stargate. Percival is likely going to spot this as well, isn't he? Oh, Percival. You were thinking so right. You were making all the right moves.
Complete.
Oh, no. Does he assume that the probe has just been chilling somewhere over here? I hope for his sake that that is not his assumption. Anyways, he's now forced to respect this, and he decides to go for an awkward, what's it called, Marauder right here, right outside of his main base. He had to go for a tech lab, and I guess in his mind, he couldn't spend the time to fly that barracks back home. That's what you get for going for proxies, I suppose. Anyways, Adept goes across the map. There is a wall off here. Starport coming up as well. Nexus building on the side of the Protoss. I think he's just giving up on this, this shenanigans over here altogether. Anyways, Protoss at this point... Oh my god. He's chrono boosting out an Oracle. He's seen the timing of the Marauder. Honestly, that Oracle can deal a tremendous amount of damage. Sure, Percival can kill this Nexus. But that is 400 minerals worth. There is definitely a chance that this proxy Stargate can deal, No, I think you go to the main base, no? Oh, okay. He's gonna use it for base defense instead. He really wants to keep the gold base alive? Are you kidding me? There's not a whole lot of units that shoot up over here, so I guess he's gonna be able to clear this up. That's nice and all. Is this... I think giving up the Nexus in the bottom left and using the Oracle in the main base of the Terran would have been the better move. Especially after you've seen the Marauder, you know that there's not going to be a whole lot, right? You've seen a Hellion, you've seen a Marauder, you know that there's not going to be a Marines, you know that there's not going to be a Widowmine. I mean, right now there's a Cyclone, but I think he had a chance to Yeah, wreak havoc. Maybe he maybe in his mind he did get spotted, because there were a couple Terran units that got awfully close. Maybe he assumed that he did get spotted. Anyways, good movement right here by Percival. Snipes one of the oracles, the one with high HP. And despite the fact that I think Astrea, he kind of got stuck. He wanted to do two things, right? He wanted to deal harassment while simultaneously defending this base. I think he may have gotten a little bit carried away. Thinking on the fly can be quite tricky. Anyways, Astrea doesn't even have a shield battery at home. Does he have anything? I mean, he's going into a Twilight Council right now, trying to chrono boost out Blink. But I do believe that Percival has just used the all-army hotkey, and he is just sending all the units that he's got towards the other side of the map. Okay, can we pick that unit up? Would have liked to see that. Not going to happen, however, but concussive shells are already done, right? These guys, they certainly pack a punch. I would like to see some pickup micro, Percival. Okay, somehow, some way, that bad boy stays alive. Not entirely sure. 2 confirmed kills. Maybe the probes were a little bit scared of that. In the meantime, there is one oracle still in the top right-hand corner, but that one gets spotted as well. Excellent move. Astrea taps out, and Percival wins game number 2. Whew. Okay. Can I take a sip of my water now? I mean, I guess I could have done that in between games. Anyways. I mean, it can just be a scouting worker. It's not uncommon for Protoss players to send out their workers super early. I like this a lot. Yes, let's go. This is not a mech specs opener. This is a pylon first on the other side of the map. So that does mean that Astrea hits a bit of a supply block right now. But the thing is, if you plan on winning the game within the next couple of minutes, right, do you really need additional probes at home? Completely pointless. They're 50 minerals each. They don't even deal any damage. Well, I guess they deal 5 damage a hit. But anyways, he's going to go for double gateway proxy on the other side of the map. Usually not recommended because Terran buildings can fly. And if you play this sort of build on the ladder, even though you might win at the 3-minute mark, you're still going to have to play until like the 8. Because they're going to force you to get an anti-air unit. Something that flies. Because, well, a lot of Terran players will feel inclined to fly their command center right over there. Not going to happen in tournaments, I suppose. Okay, it is going to be an SCV scout at the very least, so yeah, he's going straight towards the other side of the map. He will see that there's a whole lot of nothing happening on the side of the Protoss, so that's something, I suppose. Reaper coming up, but the first 2 gateways, are we going to add on more, by the way? They're going to finish up in just a second. There is a pylon at home. Zealots being chrono boosted out. Yeah, Cybercore comes up at home. Percival right now scouts the timing of this. So he should be able to put 1 and 1 together. In-base command center is smart? I think you need a bunker though, don't you? Yeah, okay. Bunker here is definitely a good idea. They build it rather quickly, and if, well, you finish it, you can use it as well to be repaired. So again, ooh, pylon goes down right as the probe dies. That's going to provide high ground vision. I like that quite a bit. No, that grenade! That grenade just brought the Zealot into the Terran's main base. It's fine. I don't even think Astrea realized what was going on there. He probably could have used it as a distraction a little bit sooner. Percival right there shooting himself in the foot. That is not ideal. Anyhow, I still don't think this is that great of a situation for the Terran. I was going to bring up, though, that... Or, sorry, for the Protoss. I was going to bring up that you can't actually repair Terran structures until they're finished. Come on, Zealots. Or SCVs. Yeah, there you go. Reaper finished it off. I think the SCVs had that one, to be honest. They didn't really need the help. Stalker coming up as well on the back of this. Now, this is where things get a little bit scarier. But I don't think that Percival is in a whole lot of trouble here, is he? I mean, he definitely needs more units. He decided to go for a reactor. Factory is rather late. I think he should have gone for the factory before the CC if that was an option. It's a bit late right now, pulling SCVs as well, though he is going to be able to keep that alive. Jimmy and his boy Mark right here inside of the bunker, dealing a lot of damage. Okay, that was a bit closer than I would have liked it to be, but Percival holds. There is a Nexus, however, coming up on the other side of the map. Okay. I've seen some people ask that. Yes, technically speaking, you can boop units to the other side with the grenade of the Reaper. Usually not very helpful in a game of StarCraft 2, but I like this little counterattack, actually. There is a Stalker that comes all the way back home. Probes are not mining here for some time. Can he get another? He can. Alright, that makes his harassment well worthwhile. Okay. Problem is, right, you really need to keep your foot on the gas. If Protoss right now lets go, he is gonna lose those 2 gateways, and with that the pylon as well, so he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. So he kind of has to sit here, out on the map, trying to, yeah, just hold on, right? He needs to make sure that he has as much of a presence as possible inside of the natural of the Terran. Okay, Marines gunning down whatever they can. Siege tank is going to be available here in just a moment. You don't even need to siege it up. I mean, you can if you want to. I think he probably wants to bring the command center down towards the low ground, right? Yeah. So Astrea just trying to buy as much time as possible. Going for a robo facility as well. He might need a second siege tank, to be honest. Yeah, he's gonna get another siege tank, but it all takes a while. Lovely movement here, though, by Astrea. SCVs are just being bled out. I'd be so scared of suddenly Blink finishing up here, man. There is no Blink coming up, as we can see on the production tab, but would be a little bit early. Anyways, okay. Percival has secured his own natural. Yay! Dude, no, don't go too far, man. There's really no reason for it. Okay. It's like a welcoming committee right now. You can walk in between them. That's beautiful. An arc of siege tanks. Well, that is an excellent shade right there. Oh my god, by Astrea. Astrea shading one of the adepts on one siege tank and the other one on the other. So this siege tank gunned down, well, at the adept, I suppose, but the collateral damage was on his friendly siege tank. Okay, a lot of clever little tricks coming up here. But yeah. There's still the problem of the gateways. He's gonna go for a robo bay at home? Okay, Prism is available at this point too. That's nice. Ooh, that's a really nice position as well on the siege tank. I didn't realize it could actually shoot all the way over there. That's kind of, doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? You'd imagine it hitting the pillar, but apparently it can get pretty far. Did he just... Ooh, okay, I thought he just lost a Prism. That must have been an observer. Yeah, it was an observer. I was gonna say. If that was the Prism going down, that would really suck. Okay, so I think Astrea is going for one of his favorite units. I think we're going bowling here in just a sec. Might be time to just give up on those gates, man. I know you gave them a name and all that, and you grew really attached to them, but look, sometimes it's important to let go. And it's good to let go as well, especially if in the meantime you can distract your opponent with a bunch of adepts in the main base. Nice shade there. Really love the movement here from Astrea. I don't think he's in a very good spot in this game, but I do really like what he's doing. Okay, well, Protoss has many comeback mechanics, and one of them is certainly the Disruptor. Astrea is very good at Disruptors too. Okay, Scan is gonna reveal it, I believe. Careful now, Percival. You don't know what's gonna pop out of that in just a second. If you're gonna clump up your siege tanks, he's gonna go for it, mate! Oh my god, just barely out of range. Reaper gets, Mule gets landed as well, together with a bunch of SCVs. Apparently it's gonna go back home. I thought it was gonna be tasked with repairing those siege tanks back up to full. Lovely aggressive move though, even though it's a little much for my liking. He does manage to get the robo facility down. And now suddenly Astrea's, reconsidering it. That was close. Anyways, yeah, reconsidering positioning it over there. Maybe you should have gone for the main base robo facility instead. There is a third Nexus that's done at this point. A lot of damage apparently also done on the other side of the map. That may have been... I don't know. Oh, that's obviously... I thought there were SCVs being killed on the other side of the map, but that's the easiest SCVs right here at the front. I was going to say, there's no way Astrea could warp in on the other side at this moment, right? There's not a lot of room for him to go out and pull that off. Anyways. Percival, trying to create a chokehold right now. He wants to move siege tanks into the main base of the Protoss. That one Disruptor really is the lifeline here of Astrea. He's gonna need one huge detonation if he wants to come back. He's got a Prism, he's got a decent couple units, but I don't think he's got enough. Well, that is about as good as you're gonna get. You need another about 3 of those, and I think you'll be fine. Yeah, Stalkers in the meantime are cutting off a bunch of the supplies. So, not a lot of reinforcements getting across the map. And, well, Astrea also did a recall of probes towards that 3rd base, I believe. So, he's got quite a bit of mining here. Problem is, he doesn't have any production because the gateways he had were on the other side of the map, right? So, he's gonna have to rebuild those. Would really like to see, like, 4 gateways coming up. Anyways, he decides to commit, pulls the boys as well. This is gonna be an absolute probe bloodbath, I believe. But he may very well have enough to eventually break through this. He's gonna unsiege the tanks? Why didn't we just unsiege the tanks, mate? Oh, no. Percival maybe crumbling under the pressure a little bit. He's lost all of the SCVs that he had here on the other side of the map. The vast majority of the probes, though, have also gone down. Jimmy, oh my god, dies as he slams into the robo bay. Okay. Yeah, I think Percival sometimes has a bit of a control issue, right? Where if you compare it to some of those top-tier Terrans in the world, you see their army movement and it looks very smooth. Percival definitely looks a little bit more human in those decisions. You can see that he's panicking a little bit, right? Anyhow, he still has a huge army. This should still be very difficult for the Protoss player to win. Ooh. But he's making the best of it. God, I'm loving this. Alright, reinforcing units get stimmed as well. Astrea trying to get as much value out of his units as possible. But he's been stuck between a rock and a hard place for like 5 minutes now. I'm impressed that he's still in this game. Oh my god. I think he will hold this again. Yeah, battery overcharge, pretty good. But 12 additional probes do die here eventually. Astrea, I don't think his 3rd base is... No, it has been spotted. Interesting. I was gonna say, I don't know exactly why Percival is not going after the 3rd Nexus instead. I guess he really wants to clear out the tech over here. That would be the nail in the coffin, but... going after the economy might be the better move. Anyways, yeah, this is also gotta get cleaned up. I think you need to back off, man. I think you need to back off. Astrea actually holds on. What a madman. Still, 47 workers versus 17. Main base of the Terran, though, is running low. Natural expansion also doesn't have that much mining anymore. But I think if he just builds up a bit of an army, he'll be A-okay. But then again, do you really want to give him a lot of time? The pressure right now on these guys as well is pretty insane, right? Like, Astrea has already, in his mind, probably lost this game 5 minutes ago, so anything he can get from here is good. Percival, at this point, must be feeling quite sweaty about the whole situation. He's like, wait a second, I won this game. I had already, but I didn't. Huh? What just happened? Yeah, those American Protosses are really good with their disruptors. They refer to them as the Bulls. I'm not even joking. Oh my god. Well, another great ball hit over there. They're very least softening up a lot of that army. What I'm saying is Astrea's ball micro is really good. Good for him. Okay. Here comes Percival with killer move 4. This is gonna... Yeah, no, this is gonna be it, right? There's no way, right? Okay, GG. Guys, I've been sitting here for the first minute of this match. And guess what? Barracks inside of the main base. Pylon and gateway inside of the main base as well. Anyways. Game number 4. It takes place on the map Data C. And it looks to me like we have a little bit of a breather here. Maybe it's not a bad idea, right? Not for the players, not for the commentator, definitely not for the viewers either, right? Maybe you think you want to be at 100% excitement the entire time, but a little bit of downtime, so we're ready for, you know, when this series once again kicks off. Or maybe we're just going to see a nice little macro game here. Percival wins. That would still make for a really good match. Anyway, we'll find out together. That does give us a little bit of time to talk about unrelated stuff. Actually, by the time you're watching this video, there's a chance that we're already at 500,000 subscribers. I'm recording this video on the day that it goes up, or maybe 2 days before it goes up. I'm not entirely sure when I'll be publishing this, but as we be making this video right now, we are about 50 subscribers away from 500,000, which is insane. Like, I feel like for the vast majority of YouTubers that have ever reached 500,000 subs, they did so over the course of several months. Like, maybe they were making videos for some time, but, you know, they at some point, like, covered the right game or made the right content or had the right connections or whatever, and then suddenly, boom, their channel blew up. I've been making videos since literally 2008. Like, there's people watching this video right now that literally weren't born yet when I started my freaking YouTube channel. Okay, well, that is not a very successful proxy. Yeah, it cancels it right away. Okay. You wanted to go for a proxy starport. Anyways, before I go full old man loco once again, thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. I made videos for many, many years. Just for fun. And yeah, to be able to make content full-time for, well, a good couple years at this point too. How long has it been? Probably like 5 years? I don't even know. Anyways, I've been making content full-time for a long time at this point, and yeah, freaking love it. I was thinking about that recently too. I've essentially had the same daily routine for years. I've been doing like the same like quote-unquote steps, you know, in a daily routine for like 5 years right now, where in the morning I wake up, I usually do some sort of exercise, then I make a video, then I live stream, and then it's the end of the day, right? That's roughly what I do. I mean, there's a couple other things in between as well. I recently, for example, started learning to play the piano. That's been a lot of fun. Anyhow, roughly speaking, I've been doing the same schedule for a very long time, and somehow I'm still not tired of it. Like, I've literally been doing the same routine for like 6 years right now, and I still love it. Most days, I still get up in the morning, and I'm excited to, yeah, get back at it. Anyways, I didn't want to tell you my whole life story, but thanks for subbing. I appreciate you. 111 right here from Percival. Don't think anyone is too surprised by that, even though he wasn't intending on building that starport inside of the main base. Apparently, it's his next best thing. Gonna be going for the Banshee here. Ooh. Astrea, in the meantime, playing a little bit more passively as well, right? So he's got 3 sentries over here. Protectors of the wall. They are the swords in the darkness. They are the watchers on the wall. They shall wear no crown and win no glory. Now their watch begins! Oh, and they hold! Legends, man. Amazing. It's a bit nerdy that I'm familiar with the speech of the Night's Watch, is it? Anyways. Good snipe right there on that siege tank. He is going to lose quite a few units here in the process, but the sentries here being super helpful. Eventually, they all do get picked off. Rest in pieces right there to the watchers on the wall. There is another siege tank in the back. Okay. He's going to be forced to back off from that. Ooh, he wants to grab it. Puts the weakened stalkers in the back as well, so this guy apparently would be shelled at first. 1 SCV, just enjoying life. Whee! It's going to float to the surface of Data C as well. I do believe that the tank is going to get picked off eventually. This is all rather expensive, though, for the Protoss, but I do think that the Terran is losing a little bit more. Yeah. Like, what you got to keep in mind is that this is... There's an Immortal. Okay. This is a 2-base opener here from our Terran. He might go for a 3rd CC eventually, but right now he's just doubling down on the... did he recall that Immortal, by the way? Yeah, he did. I'm assuming he's going to double down on the unit production here for a little while longer. And at this point, he's playing against a Protoss player with 69 probes. That's pretty nice. So if you look at the income, this is that advantage, right? Every minute that goes by right now, Astrea is roughly getting about 10 zealots worth of additional resources. That's absolutely massive. Don't go for a 4th base, though. No, he's just going to go for a pylon to scout for incoming drops. Anyways, he's got his eco up and running right now. This is the point where Protosses will go for their gateway explosion. Gets one of them for sure. Yes. This is where they go for their gateway explosion. We have all of the infrastructure building right now for the Protoss. So he's got the forge. We're going to go into the blink. And in about a minute or two from now, Astrea is gonna feel wonderful about this game. He will still need to hold the aggression, but he's gonna have way more units. Like, the scariest part of the game has mostly happened at this point. Then again, it's very easy to assume, yeah, that Percival is gonna go for a 3rd CC, but that's not the case. This man has just added on even more barracks. So still, he could add on a 3rd CC eventually, but I believe that he's gonna go for one all-out assault here in just a moment. Stimpack is researching, Combat Shield is researching, +1 infantry weapons. They're all gonna finish up right around the same time. And I think right as he hits that huge power spike, that's the point at which he decides to go across the map. There is, however, a 4th Nexus coming up right now from Astrea, so he could be misreading this. I don't think you want to go for too many probes, man. Yeah, just chrono boost out the Colossi, get the extended thermal lens, and just warp in as many units as possible. Maybe even chrono boost out charge. Anyhow, Percival, ready to fight. His +1 infantry is actually a little bit delayed. Normally at this level, you'd expect those things to all be lined up perfectly, but I actually didn't realize it. I didn't even check the timers. I just saw that they were upgrading. I was like, okay, I've seen this a million times before. They're always lined up pretty much perfectly, but yeah, definitely a little bit of delay right there on the +1 infantry weapons. Honestly, though, the Protoss army looks massive. Like, there's a Colossus out right now. What are you gonna do? Oh, beautiful blink micro there as well, actually. Microing the units into that army. Okay, SCVs are coming to the front now, too. I think that Astrea was just about ready to jump that siege tank line. I think he's still going to in just a moment. I mean, he just killed 12 workers. There is no way that this is going to work, Percival. Sorry, man. Spoiler alert, guys. But, Percival's super dead. Right? I mean... If somehow Astrea loses this, I'm going to be very surprised. Yeah, so the Nexus is still there for battery overcharge and all that, right? So there's a battery overcharge on the battery. Oh, sorry. I accidentally hit spacebar. Anyways. No Zealots here in the mix. Okay, he's just cutting off reinforcements, giving up the Nexus entirely, playing this as safe as possible. Obviously, Astrea doesn't have all of the information when it comes to the supply count like we do, right? So we're currently talking 145 versus 88. Nexus even gets replanted down in that position. Siege tanks get destroyed as well. Okay, so rather than one big clash between two large armies, Astrea is slowly picking this one apart. He's got extended thermal lens done at this point. He's gonna go for his 3rd Colossus. Recall on the Stalkers as well. And even though finally Percival had him cornered, yeah, there's just way too much. Look at the range on those Colossi now suddenly as well. They deal a lot of damage. GG. Okay. So that brings us to Tropical Sacrifice. The final match of this best of 5. This is one of the most fun series I've casted recently. Really good stuff. I don't think we're gonna go for any shenanigans, though. Nope. Pylon at home. Depot at home. We'll have to wait a little bit until we see what these guys are actually going for. Are you gonna go for... That was a funky little bit of movement right down that first SCV. If you're gonna send it across, you probably just want to send it across. Maybe a little bit flustered after that previous match. Yeah, Percival is really happy just going for 2 basal lins and all that, but... in the current meta, I don't think it's actually that great. Like, it can definitely work, but against guys of Astrea's caliber, you can see that Astrea just picks it apart. I mean, obviously, he takes some crazy decisions in order to even get into that spot in the first place, but... yeah, in the end, it's just a 2-base Terran all-in, which most people have learned how to counter by the time that they've reached Master League, right? Like, it's super common. Anyways, it's gonna be the good old NG Bay block. This is something that Björn popularized. Actually, I don't think Björn is really playing it anymore, but remember him doing that a lot back in the day. He goes through phases. This is one of those things that we see all the time. There's like a bunch of builds in all the matchups of StarCraft 2 that aren't necessarily the most popular, but they're still really quite good. So blocking your opponent's natural, very annoying. Because at this point, Astrea is going to go for his 3rd base first instead. It should be fine, right? But obviously, you don't have as much practice playing this than just having your own natural taken instead. Okay. Straight reactor. Oh, okay. Percival. Not done yet. There is a probe here. But Astrea is not thinking of... Oh my god. Oh my god, that's Astrea's announcer. Astrea apparently running with the Diva announcer. Can you believe it? Anyway. Astrea not thinking of the fact that there could be a bunker building right now, so he's gonna find out about that one in just a moment. Are we gonna rally those Marines straight across the map though, or like, what's the plan? Yeah, he cancels that NG Bay eventually, that's nice. Okay, so Astrea. I can't believe that he's using that. We found that out in previous casts as well, but... Yeah, he uses the Diva announcer, unironically. Anyways, ta-da! Oh my god. Even the SCV popped out, just to be even more insulting. Is this really that great, though, for Terran? So he's gonna start marching those units, 2 at a time. There is a... Oh, okay, it's a triple Rex opener. There's no factory or anything along those lines in this particular match. So, yeah, you guys want to get into the bunker? Good luck. Oh. Oh. I hate everything about this cheese. Yeah, he even cancels the shield battery right now, too. Okay, that was kind of unfortunate. If your whole strategy is crossing your fingers and hoping that your Protoss opponent is not paying attention, I don't think it's a very good strategy. It's like, oh, I hope he doesn't get the body. Oh, he got the body block off. Oh, too bad. Anyway, triple Rex opener. Not super common anymore. Well, we've seen it quite a bit, I guess, in Zerg versus Terran over the last little bit. Good control right there by Astrea, keeping those stalkers alive. Jimmy, shoveling to the back. Okay. There's a Marauder right now in the back, too, which I kind of like. He doesn't have concussive shells or anything along those lines, but it's waiting. So this is a nice little move, though, from Percival, because at this point, Astrea doesn't know about the lack of base. So Astrea is going for a 3rd Nexus. All he's gonna have to do in this game is hold the 1 base all-in of Percival. All he needs to do is hold. If Astrea's making the assumption at this point that he's going up against 2 base Terran, he's gonna make the assumption as well that those upgrades here, Stimpack and Combat Shield, aren't gonna finish for another couple minutes. So he is investing in a lot of stuff that's not really gonna be very helpful when it comes to defending this just yet. Yeah, he's sending around the hallucinated Phoenix right now, so that's gonna give him the exact heads up of what's happening, but Combat Shields are done, Stimpack is finishing up. Astrea, do you have enough units to deal with the SCV pain train? Okay, so let's see. What a way to end this show. Very fun. Alright, he's desperately putting up a bunch of shield batteries. Chrono boosting out an Immortal, but the Immortal is building at the 3rd Nexus. I think Percival may just have a little bit too much. Okay, good set of force fields. Those force fields were flawless. I think giving up this Nexus entirely is a good move. Maybe recall the probes from the 3rd base. Or just hide them in the corner for now, it's fine. Just buy time. Actually, you know what? How many sentries do you need to continuously force field this? I mean, that's not really the real question, I suppose, but you don't really need that many. Yeah, if you just force field it perfectly at... Well, that's not quite perfect. But if you force field it well, yeah, he's just warping in more and more sentries. Have you thought about that, Percival? Oh my god. Yeah, that's a nasty way of playing it, huh? Yeah, there's a good reason why we stopped doing 1 base Terran all-ins back in 2011 or so. GG is cool. And eventually, it's Astrea who obtains the victory. Hey, if you made it all the way until the end of this video, please take the 1 second that it takes to hit the like button. It really does help out. And if you really enjoyed watching this, maybe we can reach 1 million subs in another decade? I don't know. But, you know, if you want to, you can subscribe.